Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to 2A News Now, and I really appreciate you taking your time tuning into my video. After you watch the video, if you guys can do me a large favor and help the channel out by liking, sharing, and subscribing and hitting those post notifications, I would be very grateful. A federal judge has ruled that a tough new gun law is constitutional. A federal judge has ruled Oregon's voter-approved gun control measure, one of the toughest in the nation, is constitutional. U.S. District Judge Karin Immergut ruled that banning large-capacity magazines and requiring a permit to purchase a gun falls in line with the nation's history and tradition of regulating uniquely dangerous features of weapons and firearms to protect the public. The decision comes after a landmark U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Second Amendment and has upended gun laws across the country, dividing judges and sowing confusion over what firearm restrictions can remain on the book. It changed the test that lower courts have long used for evaluating challenges to firearm restrictions, telling judges gun laws must be consistent with the historical tradition of firearm regulation. Oregon voters in November narrowly passed Measure 114, which require residents to undergo safety training and background checks to obtain a permit to buy a gun. The legislation also bans the sale, transfer, or import of gun magazines with more than 10 rounds, unless they are owned by law enforcement or a military member, or were owned before the measure's passage. Those who already own high-capacity magazines can only possess them at home or use them at a firing range, in shooting competitions, or in hunting as allowed by the state. After the measure takes effect, large capacity magazines are not commonly used for self-defense and therefore are not protected by the Second Amendment, the judge wrote. I know you will all agree with me that the judge is absolutely wrong. There are numerous accounts of people using AR-15s and other weapons that had magazines more than 10 rounds and used them to protect themselves or others and stop mass shootings. The Second Amendment also allows governments to ensure that only law-abiding, responsible citizens keep and bear arms. But these laws these people continue to pass mainly affect the law-abiding citizens. The latest ruling in the U.S. District Court is most likely to be appealed, potentially moving all the way up to the Supreme Court. The Oregon measure's fate has been continually watched as one of the first new gun restrictions passed since the Supreme Court's ruling last June. Like I said, these laws are only affecting law-abiding citizens. How can they believe if they pass a law that someone can't have a magazine that holds more than 10 rounds, that a criminal's going to follow it? Because they're not. That's why they're called criminals. It's absolutely ridiculous that they think this will help in combating crime. As always, I would really like to hear your thoughts about the story in the comment section down below. And as I mentioned at the starting of the video, if you enjoyed this video, or if I gave you some information you didn't know, please take time to help the channel out and like, share, and subscribe and hit those post notifications. We're getting closer and closer to 60,000 subscribers, and that's all because of you guys. And I invite everybody back to see my next video.